Okay, so in just the last 24 hours, the AI world got hit with a massive 1-2 punch. Two brand new, super powerful AI models dropped, and now everyone's scrambling, trying to figure out which one is actually better. But what if I told you the real winner isn't even one of the models? Let's get into the $100 billion race that's really going on behind the scenes. So, in one corner, you've got GPT 5.5, OpenAI's latest and greatest, trying to hold on to its top spot. And in the other corner, you have DeepSeek V4, this incredibly powerful challenger coming out of China, and it's looking to take the crown. It feels like a classic underdog story, but there's a huge twist. Because here's the thing, this fight isn't really about who has the highest benchmark score. The real winner isn't a piece of software at all. It's something way, way bigger, and it's hiding in plain sight. And trust me, when you see what it is, it'll totally change how you look at the entire AI industry. To find out who's actually winning, we kind of have to become detectives. We're going to have to sift through this mountain of really confusing and honestly often contradictory data. This is where our investigation really begins. Okay, so our first clue that something's a little off comes from this really advanced coding test. And as you can see, GPT 5.5 is actually falling behind. And here's the kicker. This is the exact same test OpenAI was bragging about just a few months ago. Yeah. Awkward. But just when you think you've got a handle on it, boom, the tables completely turn. On a different coding test, suddenly GPT 5.5 is right back on top. It gives you whiplash, right? And it's the perfect example of why you just can't trust the headlines on this stuff. And it's not just with coding that the results are all over the map. GPT 5.5 has trouble with obscure facts, it has a really bad habit of just making stuff up, and it can even get beaten by its older, more specialized sibling. This tells us something absolutely critical. These AI models don't have a single IQ score. Their intelligence is more like a patchwork of different strengths and weaknesses. So we're left with this big puzzle. If the benchmarks are all over the place and every model is good at different things, how in the world are we supposed to figure out who's actually winning this race? Well, to solve this, we need to stop asking the old question and start asking a new one. Instead of asking who's the most powerful, we need to be asking who's the most efficient, because that is where the real battle is being fought. And hey, don't just take my word for it. One of OpenAI's own researchers, Noam Brown, said it perfectly. He said what really matters is intelligence per dollar. I mean, think about it. Anybody can build a powerful model if you give them a blank check. The true innovation, the real genius, is in making it efficient. Let's see what this looks like with a real-world example. On this one benchmark, it looks like the top models are basically in a dead heat. I mean, GPT 5.5 and Opus 4.7 are practically tied. DeepSeek is a little behind, but still in the game. But this is only half the story. Now, let's look at the price tag, and this is where things get really wild. GPT 5.5 is a little cheaper than Opus, sure, but DeepSeek V4, it is in a completely different league. It's not just cheaper, it's a total game changer. Just let that sink in for a second. 1/10 the cost. DeepSeek is giving you about 70% of the performance for only 10% of the price. In an industry where every single calculation costs money, this isn't just a competitive advantage, it's a revolution. But why is efficiency suddenly the name of the game? Why does being cheap matter so much all of a sudden? Well, it's because there's a silent crisis brewing behind the scenes, a hidden shortage that's choking even the biggest companies. It's called the Great Compute Crunch. OpenAI's president, Greg Brockman, was actually pretty blunt about it. When he was asked about their investments, he basically said, our competitors are not having a good time on compute. It's a huge signal that this crunch is very real, and it's hitting some folks a lot harder than others. The easiest way to think about it is like a gold rush. Everybody is trying to find gold, but there's a limited number of pickaxes. In the world of AI, compute is the new gold, and there just aren't enough chips, not enough data centers to go around. And look, this isn't some far-off hypothetical problem. DeepSeek is already having to ration access to its new model. Anthropic is struggling to keep up because their models are so popular. And even OpenAI, the leader, is warning everyone that we're heading for a world where compute is scarce. The crunch is already here. So this abstract problem, this compute crunch, is fueling a very real, very physical race. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar scramble to build the actual foundations for our AI future. And this brings us to the most important point of this whole thing. The real AI war, it isn't being fought with lines of code. It's being fought with concrete and with silicone. It's a global construction boom on a scale we have never seen before. The logic is actually really simple. We all want more AI, right? Well, that requires more compute power. And to get more compute power, you have to build more data centers. It's this simple cycle that's pouring billions upon billions into a massive worldwide construction project. So what's the end game here? Why are these tech giants spending fortunes building data centers that cost more than the entire economy of some countries? The ultimate prize isn't just a slightly better chatbot. No way. The goal is the automation of every single repetitive white-collar job out there. That is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity that could completely remake our economy. And for a prize that big, no amount of money is too much. This is not science fiction. This is happening right now. All across the planet, huge areas of land are being transformed into what are basically token factories, these sprawling data centers just churning out AI responses 24/7. So the next time you hear someone say that AI is just a passing fad, ask them one simple question. What part of our world, what part of our jobs isn't built on repetitive tasks? The answer to that question tells you everything you need to know about the size of the revolution that is already happening.